In this video, you will see a mission name, gameplay, and of course many items, including a unique item. However, you will not actually see any like NPC dialogue, story progress, or any kind of story spoilers. Hello, welcome to another video, and today I'm going to be breaking down melee weapons and the different manufacturers, the differences between them, how they differ from each other, and the various mechanics that are on one manufacturer and not on other, and just in general talking about my observations with melee, going as in-depth as I have personally been able to. This is a limited build, preview build of Tiny Tina Wonderlands. Anything that I say is subject to change. Going into the to melee weapons, of course, you have a brand new equipment slot over in the left-hand side here. Where your melee weapon goes, it's not something that you equip, it's just you see it when you physically melee. And the four manufacturers are Swift, Valora, Cleave, and Bonk. So the main differences between them are Swift is the fastest attack speed, Valora is the slowest attack speed, Cleave is kind of in the middle but on the lower side of damage, but has very high crit stats, and Bonk again is kind of in the middle but on the higher side of damage and the lower side of crit. So, low damage, high attack speed, high damage, low attack speed, medium attack speed, low damage, high crit, medium attack speed, high damage, low crit. That's them just as their generalist trend. Now, of course, melee weapons have got their own part set, so you will see overlap. You will see a Valora with very, very high crit, and a Cleave with very, very low crit, but in general, in terms of peaks, those are the kind of gimmicks of each manufacturer. So, for example, Swift I've seen go up to like 1.8 attack speed, whereas a Valora I've seen cap out at like 1.2. Cleave I've seen go anywhere from like 1 to 1.4, maybe? And the crit goes from like 110 to like 160. Get the idea? Speed, big hit, low crit, lower hit but with big crits. General idea. If we look at the parts list, so inspect, details, part inspection, so this one's got a nice chunky set of mods, parts on it. We've got the main blade, which is what makes this a claymore. Then we've got an element. Then we've got a blade mod, which just works like a normal, part on a weapon. Then we've got the hilt, which, again, part on a weapon. And we've got hilt mod, which is our augment, our weapon perk. These aren't, like, exclusive to particular manufacturers. This one's got vampire. Vampire can roll on any of them. So there doesn't seem to be any limitations on hilt mods. And I think you can also get 2 as well on purples, although that's quite rare. And the head part, the blade or the head of a hammer, this kind of breaks the sub-manufacturers down a bit more. So not all bonks are hammers, some of them are big maces. If I can get an example in this vendor. So this is a Cleave Great Axe. So this one's got much higher attack speed, at 1.4 there, with like 150 crit. And presumably a bit less damage than the other axe. Of course, that's a much higher level, 5 levels higher. But yeah, that one's a bit lower attack speed. And that is like kind of a scythe. Kind of a scythe thing. It's definitely not a great axe. So there are differences within the manufacturer. For example, Swift can either be like a broadsword like this one, or a dagger like this one. Now, Bonk, as I say, could be a mace, a hammer. Valor could be the claymore, or a great sword, or a pronunciation of that word, and each of these further have various stat differences, although the handling of the weapon will be mostly the same. And in terms of handling, the main thing you'll notice is that they have a lunge, which seems to be better if you're sprinting. So if you're looking at an enemy but they're a bit out of reach, you'll kind of lunge towards them. The hit registration on this is not like bullets. It's actually good. I have yet to really see my melee whiff, and if they have ever, it's because they've hit a part of the enemy that's like kind of armored. Not a literal armor bar, but like there'll be an enemy with like a backpack on them that will physically block the damage that you hit, say like bullets or something. But if it locks on, it's hitting them, essentially. To the point it gets kind of ridiculous. If you lunge at an enemy that moves away from you, you can almost commando pro them. Think vertical melee range in Borderlands 2. You can hit from really, really far away. It's quite funny. However, Valora does not have this mechanic. There is no lunge with Valora, which means, in practice, Valora ends up having some of the least range. It's not the highest base range, but without that lunge, you can't do the snipes like you can with the other ones. And then, something that's a bit more anecdotal, not entirely sure, it seems like Bonk and Cleave have got a bit more range than Swift. It would make sense if they did, but I can't confirm that. In terms of gameplay and power between the melee weapons, they all seem very, very balanced. If I've gotten a good roll, a good melee weapon, it's felt good. And I've had those examples on each manufacturer. It's hard to test the true balance between them without the full game, because we get all kinds of different parts and things, and it's a bit harder to test that. But with this preview build. But so far they feel relatively balanced. Some of the uniques are very, very good, like this the dagger that I briefly showed earlier. Has got a very, very nice unique ability on it, which makes it hit very, very hard. Again, it's a unique from a mission, so I won't bring it up again. But you can go back and have a look, see if you're curious. In terms of melee in general, in the power in general, it feels alright. I'm playing Stabbermancer, which has got a lot of skills in loading your damage into one big hit. So Stabbermancer works very, very well with Cleave or Valora, because he's got a skill where if you shoot an enemy, for every shot, it gives you increased melee damage up to 10 stacks. So you shoot 10 times, then you melee hit. Shoot 10 times, you melee hit. And then on kill, your next hit is a guaranteed critical hit. So you don't even need crit chance. So Cleave with a lot of crit damage. If I just have a rapid fire weapon, I put 10 bullets into an enemy, soften them up, and I hit them with a Cleave or a Valora. Big critical hit, big hit, finish them off, kill them. My next hit's gonna be a crit. So I shoot a bunch of bullets, stack up that base damage, melee attack in, big crit, big hit. So this game pushes a lot on the loop between using the different types of damage, really. So you go from melee into spell into shoot into melee into spell into shoot. It doesn't really want you just doing one thing only. If I'm just hacking away with a melee weapon, I'm not going to get any of my boosts, I'm not going to get any of my buffs, and it'll feel very, very good. But though, that's just been the experience on Stabbermancer. Maybe that's different on Berserker or Clawbringer. They seem to have melee-focused skills from looking at armor pieces. Don't have access to those classes yet, so we'll have to wait and see. But that's just what I've experienced with this preview build. All in all, very, very fun. I think my personal favorites are either Valora or Bonk. Although I should probably give Cleave another run, because that crit damage could probably be quite nasty. I don't know. I've always pushed up my strength, so I've got a lot of strength but no dex. So if I hit a crit, it's a big hit, and I've done that because of the skill that gives me an auto crit. I don't need crit chance if it's an auto crit, so I've just gone with crit damage. So it's probably for the best I go Bonk and Valora instead of Cleave and Valora. Who knows? We'll have to math that out in the main game. Any case, that's melee weapons. Hopefully this video was formative enough for you. I'll be covering as much as I can with Wonderlands. I've enjoyed my time with this preview build, and I cannot wait for the full game to release. So yeah, thank you very, very much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of the evening. Stay safe, stay awesome. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.